Donnie, great job today. How you feel?
Just tired.
Yeah?
Definitely tired, yeah.
I could tell a lot of that kind of stabilization type stuff, or when we had you on one leg and stuff, it was tough for you.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Had you ever done anything like that before, or any kind of training like that?
No, nothing like on a wall or anything like the disc, nothing like that.
I was curious to see how that would work out, because I'll tell you, I was pretty impressed. Typically, the first couple of times somebody's doing, unstable surface training or stabilization type training, they're all over the place, right? Because it's just new for them. So I could tell when I was watching you do the exercise that it was tough, but I would have never thought that it was your first time doing that. So what that tells me is you're probably a step or two ahead of where you think you are. I know you're kind of beating yourself up because you're used to being in good shape and you haven't done much in a while. But I think from what I saw today, just from a coordination standpoint, how well you move, I think we're going to be able to, progress probably faster than we do most people. And that goal that you had, 10 to 12 weeks, lose 10 to 15 pounds before this wedding, I think it's completely realistic. Chances are we'll get there maybe even a little bit beforehand. We just kind of go to a maintenance phase until we That's cool. So, I want to recap, make sure I kind of caught everything that we were talking about. So, 10 to 15 pounds, it's really less about the weight than it is really is the size that you felt most comfortable, which is about a 32, 34 waist in that range. But we think that's about 10 to 15 pounds, 4 or 5% body fat, something like that. No major medical concerns. We had that, high ankle sprain that you had talked about back in college, but it didn't seem to bother you when we were doing any single leg stuff today, right? So I think that's kind of a non-issue. Just let me know if it starts talking to you along the way. And the other thing that I really kind of, the mental note I took when you were talking was the times that you've kind of tried and failed in the past, the common denominators that I saw were you were either one, working out by yourself, or two, you were trying to work out at nighttime or in the afternoon. You said yourself your work gets pretty busy and stuff like that. So my strategy would be, hey, it's got to get done early. I know it's tough to build the habit of getting up early in the morning, but if we can get it done early, it's less likely stuff's going to come up. So that would be, would you agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'll tell you, when I sit and say, hey, we're dealing with a client, we got to lose 10 to 15 pounds, it's time sensitive, we got a wedding coming up, there's a couple of things that I think are going to need to be our major focuses through the course of the program. Number one is nutrition. No surprise there, right? We talked a little bit earlier about it. What's one thing you learned about nutrition today?
Just kind of spacing stuff out. And then sometimes, you said some days you got to eat more because you're working out harder. Some days you're not working out hard, don't eat as much.
Yep. And again, we talked about the whole, burn more than you take in, or the whole law of thermodynamics, right? If we can burn more calories through the day than we take in, you're going to lose weight. So sometimes it's burn more, sometimes it's move more, eat less. Sometimes it's move more, eat more. You know what I'm saying? Either way, the key is moving more. And if we can put you in that calorie deficit, I'll tell you, my math would be, if we can be in a 500 calorie deficit every day, we know 7 days a week, that'd be 3,500 calories. We know 3,500 calories equals 1 pound. So that would be a pound a week you could lose right there. We're talking 10 to 12 weeks before your wedding. On a conservative end, with manipulating that one variable, you're talking about 10 to 12 pounds right there. So that would just kind of be my strategy with nutrition. Obviously, there's more to it than that, but I would say, hey, let me worry about everything else. We'll kind of learn a little bit along the way. Step one is burn more than you take in, you're going to lose weight. Take in more than you burn, you're going to gain. Make sense? Yep. Number two is cardio. I know you said you hate doing cardio. I don't love it myself. My main goal for you there would just be, you heard me kind of throw out that term, target heart rate zone, and that's really just a fancy way of saying if I'm going to ride the bike for 20 minutes, I want to do as much in that 20 minutes as I can. I just want to be efficient with my time. You had mentioned you used to kind of play basketball or ride your bike or run a little bit when you were in college. Were you ever real cognizant of where your heart rate was, or you just kind of listen to your body and see how you felt? Yeah. I think most of our workouts will still probably feel that way. Once a week, once every couple of weeks, we're going to want to redo that just because your heart's going to get stronger. It's a muscle. It's going to adapt, so we just want to make sure we're training at the right intensity and all that kind of stuff. Next will be supplementation. Really, I try to hold off from any supplement recommendations I might have until we know what we're doing with food. Ideally, I want you getting all the vitamins and nutrients you need through your food. My concern would be if we're going to have you in a calorie deficit because we're trying to lose weight, you're going to be in a nutrient deficit too, right? So a multivitamin and stuff like that just allows us to kind of give you back those vitamins and nutrients without adding calories. So if there was one little sound bite I want you to take away is nutrients without calories, right? You know a multivitamin right now?
Yeah.
Great. Keep that up. And then the last thing would be strength training, and And really, the problem with any weight loss program that doesn't include strength training is a certain percentage of the weight you lose is muscle. And obviously, that's the last thing we want to lose. So my main goal for you through our program with strength training would just be preservation of lean tissue. I want to do enough strength training so I can keep the muscle that I have, and if I drop 10 or 15 pounds of weight, it's 10 or 15 pounds of fat. It's not 10 of fat and 5 of muscle or something like that. My gut says starting out we probably do that 3 days a week right now. As your body progresses, we'll want to add a 4th day, but my suggestion would be to start out with 3 days a week. What, you're kind of looking at your schedule and everything, what 3 days do you think are easiest for you to be in the gym?
Tuesday, Thursday, Friday.
Okay. So we set something up where we go Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. And I think ideally in the beginning, I'd say, hey, Tuesday, Friday, those are our days together. Thursday's going to be your solo day. I want you getting more and more comfortable in on your own. I'll still have the workouts and everything laid out for you those days. I don't want to create a dependency with us working together. I want you to get more and more self-sufficient. So we start out, all those measurements that we did today, we're going to redo those every 4 weeks. So really in that first re-eval, I'm not expecting a ton of statistical change. There will be some, but I'm not expecting a ton. Really what I'm expecting here, solid understanding of how all those focus items that we just talked about equal kind of max results in the shortest amount of time. Your body's going to love what's going on. You're going to have more energy, strength, endurance, all those things. Again, your body's going to love what's happening. I'm just not expecting just a ton of statistical change at that first re-eval. We move into phase 2. I don't think our schedule changes at all. We stay Tuesday, Friday. Thursday continues to be your solo day, coming in more and more comfortable on your own. Reevaluate again at week 8. Now this re-eval is really what you can expect here. Everything we saw in phase 1, now we're starting to see some body composition change, starting to lose some inches. You know, this is the point where you're probably feeling your clothes are starting to fit a little different. And you're probably getting feedback from people you work with, and hey, you're looking good, you're working out, and all that kind of stuff. And that's where it kind of gets emotional, right? Because that's the part where you're really starting to feel it. And I'll make sure you have plenty of my business cards to hand out when you have that. Improve core stability and flexibility. A couple of things that really weren't our primary goals, but we identified today, probably areas that we need to focus on here too. And then kind of that last 4 weeks, or that 12-week kind of timeline is what we're working against. This last run, I don't think you and I's schedule changes at all. We're going to stay Tuesday, Friday. You're going to continue Thursday as a solo day, but this is the day I'm going to want to add a 4th day of strength training, which would be a 2nd day of you in on your own. Ideally, a Saturday or a Sunday. Which of those do you think work a little better?
Probably Saturday.
Okay. So Thursday, Saturday for this last run of your solo days, Tuesday, Friday, still ours together. We're pushing hard through those last 12 or those last 4 weeks. We reevaluate one last time before you leave. And again, at this point, we're looking at visible changes, body fat loss. If we're at that, pound to 2 a week, I think we're easily at that 10 or 15 pounds loss. And I had thrown a number out earlier about 0.5% body fat loss per week, being conservative. I think worst case scenario, we're 4, 5, 6% body fat loss, which puts us right at that 32, 34 weight. So again, right here, we're looking at sending you off, feeling good. You come back, reevaluate goals, and we kind of go from there, right? So phase 1, we're looking at $4.99. We're looking at $8.99 for phase 2 and $12.99 for phase 3. So when you kind of look at your schedule and your budget and all those things, which one of those do you think?
We want to get all the way there. So, we've got time for the 3 months to do that.
So he made it easy on me. He just picked that one. If only they were that easy.